Hi guys, it's time for a little bit of variety in my book haul. Plus, we're gonna go over my November reading plans, which are all over the place as always, but let's start with the books I picked up recently. A book haul, Quantum Thief by Hanu Rajaniemi. Johnathan from Words in Time has been talking about this book quite a bit.
Hello BookTube, I'm Johnathan, and half of you are going to love this series, and half of you are going to hate it.
This is the only reason I picked it up. I hope you're watching, Johnathan. I hope you're happy. I picked this up. I know it's gonna be a mind-boggling book. Johnathan likes it. We usually have similar tastes. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'll give it a chance. Quantum Thief. There's some protagonist who has to wake up every day and kill himself before he kills himself, or his other self kills him. Something like that from the back of the book. I have no clue. We shall see. Have you read The Quantum Thief? Let me know. Now here's a book that more people have talked about over time. Ada Palmer's Terra Ignita series, book 1, To Like the Lightning. What a title, To Like the Lightning. I like that title a lot. I love titles that make you think. So here's a series that I'm definitely gonna at least start, because if I don't like book 1, I'm not gonna finish it like so many other series. But should I start it? Should I prioritize Terra Ignita and To Like the Lightning? Let me know in the comments down below. Here I picked up a book that I don't know when I'm gonna read, but this is one of the last books that Stanisław Lem wrote. Summa Technologia. Technologia? I don't know. I picked it up in English. It was super inexpensive. I had to have it. So this is a non-fiction science fiction book, essentially, where Stanisław Lem kind of extrapolates the technology and its effect on humans, dehumanizing effects of technology versus us using technology to remain humans. Obviously, it was written years ago, before a lot of the modern technological advances have taken place. And that's why I'm not sure if it's really as current as I would like it to be. When it was written, it was certainly cutting edge. And Lem is one of my favorite authors, all-time favorite authors. So I'll definitely look at it. I'll definitely read the book, or at least attempt to read it. Ian M. Banks, as some of you may know, is quickly also becoming one of my favorite authors. I read Considered Fleabag, 5 stars. I read Player of Games, of course. I loved it. I just read it recently. 2 good books. I'm gonna be no, we're not doing November plans yet. We're doing a book haul. So I picked up a couple of Ian M. Banks's books, The Algebraist and The State of the Art. These books can be written. It's early. I apologize. These books can be read in any order. I don't know if I'm gonna read them in the order that they were written. Most likely I will do that. Why not? Why mess with a good thing, right? Anyway, have you read either one of these 2? I don't know much about them. I'm just excited to be reading the Culture series and excited to be loving the Culture series as much as I am so far. It's been a great, great ride. And guess what? In my bookstore, I picked up Howling Dark, which is of course book 2 in the Sun Eater series. I read book 1. I liked it quite a bit. I didn't love it as much as some people are loving it, but I thought it was good. It was a good entry point into the series. Feels like kind of a light but interesting, well-developed, beautiful world with a good protagonist, also complicated protagonist, which is always a good thing. And there's some mysteries that were kind of left off at the end of book 1. So Howling Dark, hey, I don't know, maybe I'll read it soon. Who knows? Let me know how much you're loving the Sun Eater series. And then I also picked up a book I've been looking at for a long time. I'm not even sure if this is science fiction or fantasy or somewhere in between. I know it's got a bit of a structure issue not everybody likes. I think it's in second person. Anyway, The Fifth Season. I do know people who love this book. I do know people for whom this series is number 1. We're number 1. So I picked it up. I'm not ready to start reading this, I don't think, anytime soon, but it's good to have a book like this. Maybe it's one that will really resonate with me. Books like these that have love-hate relationship with book readers, I think are the strong ones, as opposed to the ones who are just like, everyone enjoys them a little bit. Now, I have a couple of books here by Stephen King. I am finishing The Dark Tower. I'm loving The Dark Tower. I'm loving the last book in The Dark Tower. It's called The Dark Tower. So Stephen King, one of my all-time favorite authors. There are only a few books of his that I didn't like a whole lot. or the endings kind of let me down, maybe because I even liked them. Maybe Under the Dome comes to mind. Anyway, I picked up a couple of his short stories collections. Look how beautiful this one is. This one, it's worth picking up just for the cover. I hope you can see this cover because it's mesmerizing, right? Such a beautiful cover. I really love this one. And Skeleton Crew, so that was Just After Sunset, of course, collection of short stories. Skeleton Crew, this one has The Jaunt. I believe this one has The Jaunt, which is, I think, Stephen King's most famous science fiction short story. Let me know if you've read it. It also has The Mist. I think The Mist is in here, if I remember correctly. Not as nice a cover, so I'm not even gonna put it in front of Just After Sunset. Let me know if you like Stephen King's short stories, which ones you like the most. So now we're kind of moving away a little bit from science fiction. This book haul includes some interesting reads outside of this sci-fi genre. Hey, pardon the interruption, just a quick, short public announcement. I'm really happy to say I was invited by Joanna from Joanna Reads to be a part of her incredible series, episode, I think 33 in the series already. The series, of course, it's called Why Read? And why read indeed in this day and age when there's so many things vying for our attention, so many things we could be doing. Why read is an important question. Joanna always starts off with that, and then things just evolve into a fun conversation about books, reading, booktube in general.
Absolutely. And I think books really encourage us to think more deeply about things and to really dig into.
So I hope you join me and Whitney from Secret Sauce. We're gonna be on it. It's gonna be November, I think 9th. I'm gonna, in the community page, let you know a little bit more about it. I'll link Joanna down below and Whitney, of course, as well. So please look out for that. I think it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm just excited to talk to Joanna and Whitney about books, science fiction, books in general. It's gonna be a blast. So do not miss it. You have to see it. You have to see it live. So you could comment, you could talk to us. If not, then of course on replay. That's it. Let's get back to the video. An Artist at the End of the World. I picked up just a couple of days ago by Kazuo Ishiguro. Picked up used, of course, cheap. Kazuo Ishiguro, another author that is really hitting home run after home run. I'm loving every single book that I've read by him. I just finished The Buried Giant. Remains of the Day. Right next to it was A Revelation. Such a beautiful story, beautifully written. Each book of his has a little bit of a different feel, and that's so amazing. To have one author who can write with different voices, I think is spectacular. Too many authors, you read one, two, and then you kind of get tired because they seem to kind of feel the same. The latter books, not so with Ishiguro. Such a unique author. I definitely want to read everything by Ishiguro. And at some point, I will be reading An Artist at the End of the Floating World. Let me know if you've read this one before. Let me know what your favorite Ishiguro might be in the comments. Now, here's a book that I've been hearing quite a bit about. A retelling of Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, from the point of view of the slave Jim. James is the title of this book. Percival Everett. I've heard a lot about him, have never read any of his books. And this one, guess what? I picked it up. It looks brand new, but it was marked as used. It was like more than half off. So I could not pass up the opportunity. I want to read it. I started reading just a couple of pages and I was blown away by the language used. Beautiful, beautiful writing for sure. So James is one that I'm going to be reading. I love this type of book, this type of feel where it feels like a classic, but yet it's from a point of view from an author writing right now. I think that is a unique skill for an author, for a writer to have, and when it's done well, I think it sings. And from what I've seen so far, just peeking into the book, I think this is going to be a good one. Of course, it takes place 1830s, 1840s, I believe, before Civil War times. Another author, oh my gosh, I have so many amazing authors that I kind of was introduced to this year, because Ishiguro, I have never read him previously, and this year I've already read 4 books by the amazing British author. Clare Keegan, an Irish author, I should say Ishiguro, I guess, British-Japanese author. Clare Keegan, amazing. I read 2 of her books, Foster, and of course, Small Things Like These, and this is a collection of her short stories. I suppose there are only 3 of them because this is a short book, so only 3 short stories. So Late in the Day is the title. Stories of women and men. The first 2 books that I read by Keegan were incredible. So affecting, touching, beautifully told in a sparse, quick, easy prose, but really hitting hard. So yes, I could not again pass up an opportunity to pick up this collection of short stories, and I will be reading this probably soon. Here's a spoiler for November. I'm probably gonna read this in November. So there you go. Sue me. Steinbeck. East of Eden. East of Eden by Steinbeck. A lot of people talk about this book as one of their favorite books of all time. I want to read it for sure. I want to read it rather soon also. I read Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. I love Of Mice and Men. That's a much shorter read, of course, but so powerful, so beautifully written, so affecting. East of Eden is more of a sprawling family saga. Yeah, let me know if you've read East of Eden and if you loved it. And if you think I might love it as well. And Paradise by Toni Morrison. Now, Toni Morrison is not a new author to me, but I love Beloved. This year I read The Bluest Eye, and it also affected me greatly. It's not a book that I would say I loved because it's such a difficult subject, but it's, Toni Morrison, amazing books in my opinion. Song of Solomon as well. Paradise, I picked this up for a few bucks, hardcover, first edition, beautiful condition. I could not pass up the opportunity to pick up Toni Morrison's Paradise. So these are some of the books I picked up recently. Oh, there's one more. Fell on the floor, it was just too heavy for my table. Comanche Moon. So this is McMurtry's saga, of course, the only book in it I read, and it's the only one you really need to read, many people will say, is The Lansom Dove, one of my all-time favorite books. I think it was on the list of my top 10 books of all time. Maybe I'll link that list below. Maybe somebody will check it out. But I think I know Lansom Dove was on it. This is the last one in the series of books in that saga, right? I just picked it up because it was $5. Beautiful hardcover edition. I don't know when I'm gonna read it. I'll definitely read it at some point. I've heard from some people that Lansom Dove is head and shoulders above the other books in the series, and others have said that they're all really good. Because of that, I think I'll have to find out for myself which is true. Let me know if you've read all the books in the series and the Lansom Dove series, and let me know if you love them. Now, oh wait. Well, this is a new one that I picked up, but it's also one that I'm thinking maybe to read in November. So we're gonna transition from the book haul, into November reading plans. All the Sinners Bleed. I used to read a lot of mystery, crime, right? Drama, and I've kind of gone away from it. Nesbo, the Scandinavian stuff was great for a time. Of course, oh my gosh, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, all those 3 books. I think book 2 in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, whatever the title of book 2 was a book that kept me up all night. I could not put it down. I was just making more coffee. Excuse me. And I stayed up all night reading it. I think that's the last book that I read, a series book that I read in one sitting, and I did not sleep a minute. I stayed up all night, read the book, loved it. So anyway, long story short, I've kind of gone away from reading mysteries, drama, crime. And this one I've heard some things about. S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed. That's a good title. All the sinners perhaps should bleed. But then again, we're all sinners, right? Or not. Anyway, Black Sheriff, small town, I think. Interesting story. I've heard some amazing things about this. If you read crime fiction, let me know if All the Sinners Bleed is one that I should stay up all night and bleed and read. Maybe even in November. I'm having a little bit of a feel, but here's what I'm definitely gonna read in November, right? Ian M. Banks. Use of Weapons, book 3 in the Culture series. It's gotta get read. Hello, I think with the Culture, I'm probably gonna be reading 1 book a month. I think every month I'm gonna be including another Culture book, unless maybe one of them lets me down, and then maybe I need to just step back a little bit, take a break. But no breaks in November. This is a given. I'm gonna be reading Ian and Banks, and why not read them in the order that they were written, with Use of Weapons being the next one. So yeah, that's what's happening. You can leave a comment Don't leave a comment. I don't care. I'm still going to read it. It doesn't matter. Another science fiction book that I may read in November, I've been thinking about Octavia E. Butler's Dawn. So this is, I believe this is a series, right? This is book 1 in a series. Dawn, kind of dark. I've heard there's some horror vibes in this. Aliens are supposed to be amazing in this book. Octavia E. Butler is a good author, of course, Kindred. So I'm really excited to read this one. Maybe it's gonna happen in November. Let me know if it should happen in November. Another science fiction book that maybe should happen in November, because I've been meaning to read this for a long time, but then kind of like I'll read some reviews of or hear some stuff from people, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm really hoping to keep this year incredible, because I really loved just about every single book that I read. It's been a stunning reading year for me because I've been selective. I haven't just picked up a book and read it on a whim. I have been kind of thinking about it, doing a bit of a research, trying to figure out if it's gonna resonate with me, if it's gonna work for me. And so far, just about every single book that I read this year has worked for me, to a tune of a 5-star or a 4-star. Very few below that, I think. So 70s, I think, is a Neil Stephenson book that I'd like to read. Next, I've heard good things about it. I've heard not so good things about it. I've heard that it's good for a while, and then there's a shift in the timeline, and then it's not so good. Who knows? Who knows? I need to find out for myself at some point. Might as well make it November. The Terror by Dan Simmons. I love Dan Simmons. Hyperion. I'm not going to pull it out, but I love that. Shoot, maybe I will pull it out. I love my Polish Hyperion. Look at my Polish Hyperion. The cover is amazing. The book is stunning. Oh my gosh. This is such a beautiful book. The Shrike. The Shrike on the cover here. This is a proper Shrike. This is a scary Shrike. This is how you do Shrike, right? Anyway. So Dan Simmons, I want to read him. The Terror. I've been wanting to read this book, but I'm waiting because I've heard from viewers that you got to read it when it's cold outside. I'm splitting my time between New York City and Colorado. There's a good chance, end of November, there's gonna be snow out there. There's a good chance it's gonna be cold. There's great chance wind is gonna be whistling outside. It is going to be proper time to pick this book. However, if it's sunny, if it's beautiful, like it is in Boulder, Colorado, pretty much all the time, we have over 300 days of sunshine, so it's usually beautiful. Even when it's cold, it doesn't feel proper cold. Then maybe I'll put this book off until December. I'm waiting to do this book justice, to do it right, because I've heard some good things about The Terror. So maybe November, maybe December, maybe not till January. Now, Cormac McCarthy, another one of my favorite authors. I mean, The Road, incredible, right? All the Pretty Horses, forget about it. Such a beautiful book. So I want to get back to reading Cormac McCarthy. I'm probably not going to be reading these books, Blood Meridian or No Country for Old Men, around Christmas time. That would be silly. So if I'm going to do it, November might be the month. I don't know which one I'll do. Of course, Blood Meridian is probably his most difficult, challenging in some ways book to read. No Country for Old Men. I watched the movie many, many years ago, so I kind of have some understanding of what the book is about. There's some incredible, obviously in the movie, some incredible acting, but I'm not sure how faithful the movie is to the book. So I'm leaning maybe a little bit towards No Country for Old Men, just thinking it might be a bit of an easier read, but who knows what I'll pick. Let me know between these two which one you might read. I do make some plans, but then I toss it into the air and see where it chips may fall, dice, whatever my analogy here should be. It's early. I'm having coffee, but I have not woken up just yet. So yeah, this was a good, I think, book haul for sure. I got some good books here that I'm excited about. I wish they didn't fall on the floor, but it happens. Books are meant to be read, in my opinion, and I try to take good care of them, but if they fall, it's okay. So anyway, thank you for checking out this video. Any thoughts, comments, leave them below. Give a like, subscribe if you haven't. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.